at this point, you have to have faith that you have to have hope that a Republican sweep of the House and the Senate plus a Trump victory will reverse course and save this ship. And it doesn't matter if you think it can't either. Even if you think, like I was saying, maybe we already lost. I'm not saying we don't go vote, we don't keep trying. It means like maybe we need to start making plans for what that entails.
So tell me, what would that entail? What does that mean? If they want the
moving
left
out of cities.
wins, that's it? Just moving out of cities?
Yeah.
That's.
And then we take it one step at a time.
Okay.
So you have people who have been indoctrinated their entire lives and are a part of a new religion that cannot be broken from their minds. And we have 4 years of Trump, hopefully, if he wins, or I shouldn't even say Trump. It's not even about Trump. It's about the Republicans doing 230 reform. Section 230 reform would be like a silver bullet that will, reverse course so fast.
For the online community?
For this country.
Yeah.
Forcing these tech companies to uphold legal speech will flip this boat around in 2 seconds. The DOJ has already proposed it.
It's a good idea. It's a good point.
They can't get it through the House. And so it's not going to happen unless the Republicans win both the House and the Senate. That is our best hope.
Well, they don't want that because that is like their last vestige of control. The fact that they can ban anyone that disagrees with them, that they're canceling people left and right that are further on the right than what they want. I'm probably on their radar right now.
Yeah, dude.
I'm sure I'm on their list.
You got mini canceled.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Your video where you were explaining voting for Trump, they nuked that several times.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Facebook shadow bans my posts now.
Yeah, dude.
Of
You're a threat.
I've been very vocal on Facebook lately, so
when
people know that I'm not happy with it.
When Tim Pool does a video where he's like, cancel culture is bad, but Trump is still kind of bad too, they say that's fine, ignore him.
Yeah.
But then you jump on the show and you're like, no, I'm going all in for Trump.
Yep.
Then they're like, that's a problem.
Yep.
They tolerate me. Mm-hmm. They want me to be as far right as people are willing to go. Then you step on board and you're like, I'm going all in. And they're like, ban his video. Shut it down.
Unapologetically, man. I regret nothing. I will never, I won't change my vision, my opinions because they want me to. No way. I'll stand against that wall, man. As Terry said,
that's what I said.
I'll die on that. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gladly. I'll stand with Terry Crews, man.
So what do you do if the blue wave hits? They sweep the House and the Senate, Biden wins, and it's just blue all across the board, baby. Now, Mike Cernovich said, in this scenario, it would result in a very far-right government in 4 years. Because Joe Biden is weak, and the blue wave would result in a loss of law and order. People in cities and rural areas would not tolerate the lawlessness, and it would cause a major backlash among the silent majority who rushes out and then votes in all hard right across the board. Based on the trajectory of British politics, there's good reason to believe that regardless of the polls, we are going to see the biggest Republican victory in 100 years. But
that makes sense.
But it's not based off of a hard data point. It's anecdotal.
Yeah, but
the polls,
hard data points that they're shoving down everyone's throats, we've already known that they're not the truth. They've been broken since 2015.
Probably
those
before
polls,
that,
probably beforehand,
Yeah.
but it didn't matter because they had their mascot as president.
When Obama was in the presidency for 8 years, polls were relatively, pointless.
Right.
So the polls could have been broken for 2 decades now.
Good point.
And we might not even know.
You're absolutely right.
They can't track it properly.
I wasn't political back then. I had no idea.
But the important thing is that the national polls in 2016 weren't actually wrong. They got the popular vote mostly correct. There was a margin of error, so they actually got it right.
Okay.
The problem was that the probability of Trump winning was considered to be nil. However, what's that poll called? Norpoth or whatever?
Oh, that was the professor who was talking about. Yeah.
He's saying 91% chance that Trump wins.
Yeah.
Off of primary votes. You want to know something crazy?
What?
New Jersey won't release the primary vote tally for Trump.
No way.
Yep.
Really?
So the official reporting is that the numbers will not be tallied because the race is uncontested.
Funny.
Uh-huh.
So maybe that's the hope. Maybe they're desperately trying to sweep this under the rug.
Dude, they're trying to convince the public that there's no hope anymore. I see it when I look at you talking to me for the past 25 minutes.
I'm not saying don't vote and don't fight.
I know that. I know that that's not what you're saying, but you are awfully defeated about this. And I'm not necessarily, you might not be convinced, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to convince people that it's pointless, you lost, you can't speak up, or because we're going to cancel you, we're going to call your job.
I'm saying to speak up.
I am too.
The point I'm making.
I'm speaking up.
The point I'm making about recognizing we may have already lost is that even with 4 years of Trump and the Republicans, the culture of the far left will not change. And these people are indoctrinated. They will not be changed.
See, I don't know if I agree with that because of what we were talking about last night about how, how fast we've gone in 6 months, right? How fast have we gotten here? How long has it changed? And then you made a good point of, we really haven't looked at the nuances of how long it's really been going on, which is more like since 2010, 2012.
Probably
Occupy.
Facebook.
Yeah, since the abundance of everybody being on Facebook and becoming like a, younger and younger children, kids have gotten onto Facebook at an earlier age. What is the number one thing Chinese kids want to do when they grow up? Do you know what the answer is? An astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's correct.
And American kids.
You know what it is?
YouTuber.
Influencer.
Yeah.
They want to be influencers.
Have I told you how this started?
No, what?
So I'll give you the academic breakdown. I had a conversation with Peter Boghossian about this. We did a podcast.
Okay.
And James Lindsay and Helen Pluck-Rose. And his view as he's in academia, he's an associate professor of philosophy, was that it started, this ideology of intersectionalism started in the late 70s, 80s, and they started teaching people this stuff. Eventually, the professors had this ideology and started teaching their students, and it's spread since then.
Okay.
And now we have a generation that were raised on this ideology. They've entered the real world.
Okay, so I don't want to lose the reason I was bringing this up. So we got here, and we're here now, right? Everyone's seeing it. Because of the pandemic, it's even more crazy. Everyone's actually seeing it, talking about it, saying, "Wow, this is really crazy." This kind of mentality that people are gaining because of the internet. We're calling out teachers. We're seeing what they're actually teaching our children. People are starting to homeschool. So it took us to here. And I think it's going to be even faster when we suddenly just go, we've had enough.
230 reform.
We need it. I absolutely agree with you.
230 reform would be Donald Trump pulling out what was that gun we were watching earlier? The 500 Magnum.
500 Magnum?
The 500 Magnum. The barrel was super long.
Yeah.
Putting a silver bullet and boom.
President Trump, if you are
Figurative.
listening to me right
Figurative.
now, or our show, number one, I'd be honored. And number two, listen to what he just said.
He would be pulling out, like, you ever see the Joker when the Joker pulls out that really long revolver?
Oh yeah, love that scene.
Putting a
It's like a
silver
foot
bullet in it
long.
and then
Two
boom.
man.
things: 230 reform and ending the war on drugs.
Oh, definitely. If Trump,
That would nail it.
I mean, if Trump came out
And said,
like the week before, the first thing I'll do is an executive order releasing nonviolent offenders.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think
Snap.
I think it's sitting in his pocket. I think he's sitting on it.
Maybe.
I hope so.
I don't know why he wouldn't do it. It's so weird to me. It's like, I mean, maybe there's something we don't know about what's going on in the inner workings of government, but here. So let me tell you why 230 reform is so important. So go back to that point about how we got here. When I was bringing up Peter Boghossian, that was his view, and I disagreed. Many different ideologies exist.
Okay.
Many different non-theistic religions exist, and they're not prominent. Intersectionalism became prominent because of Facebook algorithms. When Facebook launched,
Yep.
and publishers realized they could make money by getting shares on their articles, they started creating clickbait. I think clickbait was invented by Upworthy. So the specific clickbait, people don't understand this. Clickbait is when you omit information from a title so that people feel pain.
Emotions.
You feel a pain.
That's an emotion.
I guess it's actually a negative. It's a physical, painful response.
Emotion.
So when you see a headline that says, "I can't believe this man actually did this to the dog. How gross."
Share.
Well, no. What happens is there's actually a negative physiological response people have when they don't experience the complete process that makes them want to, like, I have to know. I have to have the complete pull through.
Right.
You have to tell me what it is. And so they realized this and started repackaging content, videos, YouTube videos, but clickbait titles, which generated a ton of revenue. So here's the basic process. A publisher emerges and goes on Facebook, and they write a news story. They say, Adam Krigler lands perfect backflip. People see the headline, and they're like...
You could have said hard flip.
Perfect hard flip.
Because I actually did today.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Adam Krigler nails hard flip in the backyard.
God, you could say that a million times. I
Now-
love it.
Never get old.
Now,
I
what
love
if they did a clickbait headline? I can't believe Adam Krigler pulled this off. Which one gets more traffic?
The second.
The clickbait, obviously.
Yeah.
They started to realize that anger actually got more shares than clickbait.
That's true. It's
And
proven.
and so the evolution changed, and that women share more than men.
Mm-hmm.
So they realized that when they would do a video or an article about police brutality, they would get 10 times the shares of an average article. And so immediately the boss of this company said, do more of this.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden you were met with this conundrum where a legitimate news organization would get 1,000 views, and your clickbait rage, the police are bad, would get 10,000.
500,000, yeah.
Yeah, 500,000.
Crazy amount, yeah.
Then the venture capital came in, and they said, who do we fund? Well, clearly they get way more views. Fund them.
Yep.
Something magical happened. The people realized that if they wrote about racist police, they would get X views. They also realized that when they wrote about sexist police, they would get Y views. Ding, light bulb.
Gosh.
Racist, sexist police is
XY.
X, Y views.
Ooh.
X
Yep.
plus Y views, or arguably X times Y. And that's where intersectionalism became extremely prominent. You ended up with articles that would say something like, there's one article from Vice that was like, black trans women fighting police brutality are the feminist heroes we need for Black Lives Matter. It's like they just took literally every word possible and jammed it
Oh,
into
it's
a
like
headline.
that article we read about Ivanka Trump.
Exactly.
Yes.
That put all of the keywords.
Oh, yeah,
just
I remember
jammed
that.
it all in.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Or like that little video that's how Vice makes their...
Yeah,
They close their eyes and just throw
a dildo?
Yes, at the wall. Venezuela, the transgender,
dealers.
ketamine
Yes.
dealers.
Yep.
And then that's an actual article that they
Well,
did.
but that's
That's how it works.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you were getting these different keywords that would attract people. But then
Right.
Vice also learned the lesson.
Yeah.
Just put racist, sexist, anti-gay Donald Trump.
And
Go
now,
away.
but now we're at a phase where all those, a certain generation of people, including myself, like there's a certain age group that kind of fell into that, right? And they were a part of that. And now we're kind of coming out of it. And a lot of those people have kids. A lot of my friends have kids. They're teaching their kids that this is craziness. They aren't letting them have iPads anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I feel like it's coming around. I can only really speak for myself ever. So in my own personal experience, I'm seeing what they're doing. I know what clickbait is. The term clickbait is in everybody's vocabulary. We all know what clickbait is.
We don't.
Really?
The definition of clickbait has changed.
Okay. Well, again, my own personal experience and the people that I know, almost every person I know, you know what clickbait is? Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'll do a poll. You know what clickbait is?
99% of people right now say
Yeah.
clickbait is like a sensational title. That's not clickbait.
Okay.
That's either like, you could argue it's rage bait. Rage bait is something different.
Oh.
Clickbait literally is so there's a forum on Reddit called Saved You a Click that specifically targets clickbait.
Yeah.
People now refer to rage bait as clickbait.
Okay.
Rage bait would be like, racist, sexist, anti-gay Donald Trump does a backflip.
Okay.
You want people to get angry, so they click on it.
I would argue that it's the same.
Clickbait is a literal definition.
Well, we can
Manipulating
talk
people.
semantics, but I don't want to.
You can argue that rage bait is a form of clickbait from a parent tree kind of perspective.
Sure.
But the origin,
Let's just go with that
The
and move
origins
on.
was literally omitting information to trick someone into, to force them to click.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that happened with that too is that people got tired of it. I just started scrolling past it. And I'm like, if you don't tell me, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Absolutely.
hate
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I think that's widespread.
Section 230 reform.
I love that.
That's the
I
magic
think
bullet.
I think it's a good idea. We need that.
The DOJ proposed it. I don't think they go hard enough. The general idea is that if the speech is legal, it can't be removed. Otherwise, you lose your liability protection.
But they're making speech illegal anyway. It's like they're choosing what's legal. So like, where's the line? They're clearly not caring anymore. They're like, whatever. We're just gonna ban whatever we don't like.
So you're saying we lost? It's hopeless? I'm
No,
kidding, I'm
absolutely
kidding.
not. We have to stand up more than ever.
Yeah.
So
we have to speak up. That's
there's-
exactly what I'm saying.
There is a challenge in like what constitutes harassment, because there are harassment laws.
Okay.
And someone
Sure.
could argue, like, he tweeted at me 3 times And I told him to stop, and he kept doing it. And maybe you'll see more of that.
Okay.
Good. I don't care. Don't harass people. Even if it is minor, then we'll have to figure out where that line is.
Well, I mean, sending someone death threats is pretty significant.
But that's
versus going on every single being a reply guy and just like saying mean things all the time. It's just like, okay, you can just block them. You can just ban them from your page.
So there was
a big difference.
There was a guy in Canada who after he got blocked kept tweeting at him because you can, and then I think he won, but he got arrested for harassment because of this.
Okay.
Either way, look, man, if we say that legal speech is protected, then the past 10 years will be erased. Poof. All of a sudden, you'll see every conservative start saying exactly what they think, what they want. You'll have people who have been banned coming back.
Yep.
Maybe not necessarily coming back because they might say, "Oh, our bans are in effect" or whatever. But this would be massive. There's another potential for victory, and that's decentralization, which we're seeing now with the Win network.
Okay.
The Donald.Win. This is really hilarious, right? You start with Reddit.
Okay.
Reddit was basically a parent forum with a bunch of smaller forums. And then because Reddit has become totalitarian, like the Justice Served subreddit announced you can no longer post videos of people of color who are committing crimes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, what?
Like what?
Right.
So,
they're pushing the specific narrative that fits their cause only. That's it. And that is not free speech.
Well, they don't believe in free speech.
I know they don't.
Exactly. Like you can make white people look bad. Well, so here's what happened. The Donald.Win declared independence.
Good for them.
And they created their own website that's a clone of Reddit, and it's actually growing in rankings. And now something magical happened.
What?
Several other subreddits declared independence and
Nice.
are now part of an independent, decentralized .win network.
Oh, you can do that.
So people are actually becoming aware of this clickbait cancel culture. Like
These forums are the anti-SJW forums. It's not a new discovery for these people. These are the forebears of the fight.
Right, but they're separating themselves because they're realizing that it's cancerous. They're cutting the cancer off of their body, basically.
They're declaring independence.
Sure.
And so this might restore some of the balance outside of 230 reform if these communities that are anti-SJW, that are conservative, moderate, intellectual dark web, say, we're going to have our subreddit be a functioning independent website. No one can change the moderators. And if people don't like it, they can just leave. No one will have the power to ban them or control their speech.
I love that.
So
sounds great.
Dave Rubin has been working on locals.com, which we've talked about a little bit privately. For those that aren't familiar, the general idea is it's your own website. It's a functioning social media network with an independently connected network between other channels. But it's your website on your server. No one can touch it.
It's pretty cool.
No one's going to ban you. No one can ban you. It's your website. Someone could go to Dave and be like, Dave, this person on locals said a naughty word. And he'll be like, I mean, that's their server. What are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
And so that decentralization is a large solution to this. The problem is, like with Parler. Parler came out and immediately the leftist media attacked it as far-right, extremist, Nazi, etc.
Yep.
Although this time...
they're still doing it.
However, because of high-profile conservatives, it didn't stick. It didn't work all that much.
That's true.
When Parler first came out, I'm not entirely sure what happened because it was a while ago, but I think Apple tried banning it from the App Store.
Oh, wow.
And then I think it was Trump Jr. Somebody intervened and was like, why? And then it got reinstated or whatever. Mm-hmm. So now they're trying to run a smear campaign saying all the worst possible things about it. And it's because the left controls all the cultural institutions.
Yep.
So one of the biggest problems the right has is they're not cool.
Okay.
I actually talked to this musician about this, and he was pointing out that one of the things that works really well for what we're doing on this show is that we're like stereotypically cool guys. Skateboarding, music playing.
You know what's really
hipster
cool?
Types.
You know what's really cool? Standing up for what you believe.
That's right.
Saluting the American flag and following all the rules.
That's cool. And you know what? It's crazy because there's a lot of people on the left that do exactly that, and that's why they're so powerful right now. We need more people standing up for what's right because they think they're right over there,
and they stand up for themselves.
And they stand
They
up,
do.
and they proudly.
Dude, you want to hear
scream
something
into the air what they believe?
You want to hear something really funny?
Of course.
There is a punk rock song from a band called Propaganda.
Okay.
And it's called "Stick the Effing Flag Up Your GDA, You Son of a B."
Wow.
And the song, they're Canadian, I guess. So, but I remember listening to that song when I was a kid because my older brother showed it to me. And the song is basically like, this dude is being told to salute the flag, conform, and don't you dare speak out against it, otherwise you'll be destroyed.
Yeah.
And so then he says, well, if this country is so GD free, then I can burn your effing flag, whenever I damn well please.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about it
We all get
is
one.
that there's today, I was listening to the song earlier, I used to listen to a ton of punk rock, and I'm like, this makes no sense. That right now, there is no, you can burn the flag and that's it. And nobody, you don't get canceled for it.
I don't know. I don't like that at all, because you burn specific flags and that's hate speech, but you burn the American flag. That's not hate. That's,
Interesting.
That's you saying that it's
what I'm going to do?
hate speech.
I am going to rewrite the lyrics to that song.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
And I'm going to say the same thing. If this country is so free, I can burn your flag, whichever one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was listening to the song, and he basically talks about, one of the lines is romanticize murder for morale.
Okay.
Talking about the war, tie a yellow ribbon around the oak tree, my friend, and gee, Wally, that's swell.
Wow.
Like, the idea is like, back then when they wrote this song, it was you supported your country, they would go to war, you do as you're told, and if you spoke up against it, it was like, oh, egad. Someone brought this up, that if in the early 2000s you mentioned that the reason we were under attack by terrorists was because it was retaliation for our actions in the Middle East.
Okay.
You would be banned, canceled, kicked off shows. Bill Maher had his show Politically Incorrect
Right.
canceled for, and
Forgot about that.
yeah, so the political correctness existed. The funny thing now is it's on the left. It's all leftist cultural, censorship.
Yeah.
Like it always exists in some form.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that I listen to this song, I'm like, it like thematically fits more with our fight against the left than it does anything to do with challenging war.
Interesting.
But for one big reason. Donald Trump is trying to pull our troops out of Afghanistan, and they are stopping him.
I don't get that.
They're smearing him. They're attacking him. They're saying, no, we must investigate this Russia collusion stuff. And I'm like, if I was going to write an anti-war song right now, it would be like, yay, Donald Trump, not F Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be like, bring our troops home. Donald Trump is the only one doing it. What?
Yeah.
This is.
Well, I mean, there's Rand Paul. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Thomas Massey.
All right. Yeah.
Thomas Massey.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
very
Rand
few
Paul.
people they're actually like anti-war. And this is the craziest thing. To see Republicans cheering right now, being like, yay, we're ending the wars. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Wow.
But you
That's
know,
where
you
we're at.
listen to, you know what's really weird about it?
Tell me, Tim.
The Bad Religion wrote a pro-alt-right song.
Really?
Yep.
Kind of weird.
Really
I
weird.
never really listened to Bad Religion, so I don't really know their music.
I used to listen to Bad Religion all the time.
Left wing.
They claimed that this song was against the alt-right. But if you listen to it, you're like,
Sounds kind of good.
This is not against the alt-right. It's telling people to like, it's promoting them. There's like some lines in the song.
Now,
that-
when you say alt-right, like, what are you talking
white
about?
nationalism,
Okay.
like people who believe there should be a country just for the white race or whatever.
Aren't alt right.
The kids are alt-right.
They are okay.
That's the name of the song.
Lyrics.
And like the chorus is, everybody needs somebody, join the party and become alt-right today.
Oh my God.
It's like that's fairly pro. Maybe their goal was to be like ironic,
Okay.
but right now, the argument from the left is that ironic humor is the same as.
Yeah.
So they basically made an ironic Nazi song where they're pro-Nazi. And here's what I think.
Nah, some people swing for the fences, and not everyone gets a home run.
That's a good point. I think the issue though is, as much as the left, look, man, punk rock is not left wing anymore. If you wrote a song where you were like, F the war, F, bring the troops back, F American imperialism, you're not talking about the left. They're pro-war. Not all of them. You have the progressive anti-war people. They tend to agree with us on our positions about free speech.
Yeah.
People like Glenn Greenwald, for instance. They get their free speech battle is the issue of Israel and Palestine.
Okay.
But they absolutely, like, it's funny seeing Glenn Greenwald constantly defend Donald Trump because of the Russiagate lies and the media lies and the pro-war
Interesting.
stuff. I know, it's funny. So if I was going to write a song today and it was punk rock and really crazy, I could write this whole anti-war song condemning the politicians and saying, you know, F your cause, F your demands, F your votes, end the war, bring the troops back. And it would end with like, and that's why Donald Trump needs to win. And it's like voting for the Republican suit-wearing, pro-America, flag-waving guy is now the anti-war move.
That's true.
He's the only one. Other Democrats, and maybe I just need to research each individual Democrat, but it was a bipartisan effort for the most part to stop Trump from pulling our troops out, and of Syria too. They attack him for it. They want the war machine.
All the people that have been in charge in government for a long time don't want things to change. He's the anti-establishment president.
He wasn't supposed to win, man.
I know. That's why they don't like him.
That's why I think they're going to cheat.
That's why I like him.
Yeah, right.
Dude, the more I look into it, I don't care. I'm saying it, like, whatever. It's cool.
If you got your news from only the New York Times, you would your image of Donald Trump would be like a winged demon snarling with like fangs, like
yeah.
And if you actually watch Trump, it's actually more just like a 70-something-year-old lewd mean guy.
I mean, I actually watch all of his speeches.
You know,
it's not that hard. Pay attention.
I think that Donald Trump's speeches are like the ultimate way to get a feel for what the media is actually thinking.
And that's what people are
all
doing.
All you got to do is watch his speech.
Yep.
And then you can listen to what the media says about it.
And
you're
how
like,
they
oh,
change
he
it.
said this. And then they were like, oh, no, he actually said this. And you're like, no, I know that's not true.
Yeah.
But now I know.
It's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell people, like, people love to bash him. Like, this whole Facebook thing, like, I'm keep talking about it, but, you know, I'm on Facebook. I'm openly saying this same stuff. I'm not changing at all. And people are coming at me like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I just ask each and every single one of them, have you ever listened to any of his speeches? The answer is always no.
What the heck?
And I just say, go listen to his speeches before you even talk to me about him.
I don't need to listen to a racist. I know what he said.
Yep.
I know.
I love do you see the video of the reporter ask a woman, you know, who are you voting for? And she's like, well, I don't have to tell you. Well, who are you voting for? And are you voting for Trump? And the reporter's like, yep. And she's like, well, you're a white supremacist then.
Oh, that's Caitlin Bennett.
Oh yeah, it was great video. And she goes, all right, well, so are you voting for Biden? Yeah. Oh, well then you're a pedophile.
Well, so it's actually better. It was a good logical twist.
Yeah.
So she's like, you're voting for Trump, and Caitlin's like, yes. And she goes, well then you're a white supremacist. And she goes, how can you say that? What proof do you have?
Yeah,
And she goes,
prove
because
it.
you support Trump. And then she goes, so you have no evidence? She's like, it's not my job to do that for you.
Yeah.
And she goes, okay, are you voting for Biden? Yes. She goes, okay, then you're a pedophile. And she goes, what? That's not true. And he's like, you like touching little girls.
Yeah.
That's
oh man, that cracked me up, man, when I saw that.
Listen,
It's so good.
Listen, man.
That's their logic. That is the logic of the left.
There's no logic of the left.
That's my point.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
So
Thank you.
here's what moderates and traditional liberal people like me or whatever you want to call it. The average person who opposes this mentality, this ideology, doesn't understand they have no logical pathways.
Yep.
It's literally just like like mashed potatoes in their head.
Yeah.
They have duct taped together somehow a system that can pull an electrical current, but you can't map it.
Yep.
You try to use the Socratic method. You try to make these points. They don't get it.
Well, when you think about it, the human brain doesn't fully, complete growing until you're 24. You know, it's still. So we have no idea really the effects of having an iPad in front of you, altering your brain waves from 3-year-olds are on iPads. They have a phone their entire life. We know the blue lights keep you awake. Your brain thinks that it's still daytime, so you don't go to sleep the same. It's like we have no idea. So not only is it mashed potatoes, but it's not a brain that we're used to. It's not. We can't compare ourselves up. We're like a different breed of humans almost, because we're part of computers. We are the new AI.
Cyborgs.
They are the new AI almost. You know.
Cyborgs.
Yeah, they are the Borg.
Their brains are developing with this digital internet technology.
They are the Borg. Wow, that's crazy, dude.
Do you know the story of the Borg?
Are they not? That's pretty nuts to think about. But that's what it feels like.
I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat to correct me, but my general understanding of the Borg in Star Trek was that they were a regular civilization like humans that started integrating medical technology that expanded to a point where it synchronized them and then created a hive mind over time.
I think so.
That they used to be regular people. And then over time, the technology...
I don't know if it started with humans, because they assimilated all sorts of different races over time.
Not humans, like the Borg was a humanoid-like race.
Right.
Then became this, and then started assimilating all the other, races.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You guys know what the Borg is, right? I'm not.
Oh, they know.
It's not too
They're
esoteric.
talking about it. Yeah.
You will be assimilated.
You will be assimilated.
Resistance is futile.
Not if I can help it.
Right.
Resist.
Seriously.
Man, I love the Borg episodes.
I know.
They're good. Some of the best Picard lines.
Yep. 7 of 9.
Yeah, well, that's Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, no,
Voyager.
Voyager.
Voyager. Oh, I messed up. Oh, that's it.
You're
Damn.
I'm officially
You're
out of
fired.
the I'm officially out.
Canceled.
There's always jokes being made about Trekkie fandom and who knows more than someone else.
Yeah.
So I will defer to you.
I clearly know more than you.
You nerd.
You can have that trophy.
Did you hear that, everybody? He admitted it. I'm gonna
All
take
right,
this.
all right.
I'm gonna take this W and run.
That's right.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.